hello everyone. Welcome to the second part of our lecture in advertising. Let's discuss the evolution of advertising. So we have here 4 stages in terms of the evolution of advertising. We have the first stage. This is the age of print. Okay, so advertisements were primarily classified in format and of course print media. The second stage, this is the Industrial Revolution and emergence of consumer society, wherein the purpose of advertising was to devise an effective and efficient communication system that could sell products to a widely dispersed market. Okay, and then the third stage is the modern advertising agencies, of course, science and creativity. So there is already a development of organizations specializing in advertising and the concept of creativity that has emerged. And then the fourth stage is the accountability era. So advertising producing sales and at the same time integrating technology in the process were developed, and advertising takes on, of course, their new responsibilities. Okay, so to have a better understanding on the evolution of advertising, let me present to you a video. There.
And now, the history of advertising in 60 seconds. Advertising is as old as the human condition, but branded, product-based ads didn't show up until the 18th century when print advertising became the norm. In the 1800s, we got the first billboards and ad agencies began to set up shop. In 1891, companies like Kodak began selling their brand, not just their product. Then, in 1908, new companies like Ford staged flashy publicity events and pioneered the art of looking cool. The soap opera was born when soap companies discovered the popularity of radio dramas among women when they did their housework.
By the makers of Lux toilet soap.
Bulova watches made the first television commercial. It cost $9. And when psychologists got involved in the 1960s, focus groups transformed the industry into a calculated science. The tactics got a lot less predictable, and the budgets got a lot bigger. Enter the internet. Even though it looked like this and sounded like, advertisers were eager to engage the growing network of more than 5 million users. By the year 2000, ads were appearing alongside search results, driven by consumer interests. Now, advertising is just part of the conversation. For the first time in history, consumers are able to choose the ads they see based on their own taste, and brands are working with publishers to create content. It's a whole new world. Welcome to modern advertising.
Okay, so moving on, let's now discuss the 5 players of advertising. So we have the advertiser, the advertising agency, the media, the vendors, and of course the target audience. So first, when we speak of the advertisers or advertiser, we're referring to a person or maybe an organization that needs to get out a message, or they need to advertise. They need to convey a message to the public or to their target audience. The advertising agency, on the other hand, are independent agencies who plan and implement part or all of their advertising efforts. So we have here the advertising department and of course the in-house agency. So an advertiser may have an in-house agency or may not have an in-house agency. So if they have an in-house agency, they would probably have an internal advertising department to conduct, of course, research, planning, creative development, the media, and the production. On the other hand, for those who do not have an in-house agency, they would have advertising departments. They will hire external agencies to do a full service agency or to come up with their advertisement. They could be a full service agency, a media specialist, creative boutiques, vendors, okay, such as freelance writers or maybe lighting specialists. Right. Okay, so moving on. We also have, of course, the media. So it is composed of the channels of communication that carry the message from the advertiser to the audience. And then we have the vendors. So we're talking about a group of service organizations that assist advertisers, advertising agencies, and of course, the media. And finally, okay, um, the fifth player of advertising would be your target audience. So it denotes the customer or the person who purchases the product. In our example here, of course, if you are to advertise cell phones, your target audience would definitely not babies because they do not have a purchasing power to buy your product. Okay. All right, let's proceed now to advertising and, of course, the marketing process. So, there are types of markets. When we speak of market, by the way, we're talking about perhaps where the exchange between seller and buyer takes place. However, when we speak of markets, also we're talking about consumer markets, which consist of people who buy products and services for personal or maybe household use. We also have business to business markets or industrial markets. So it consists of companies that buy products or services to use in their own businesses or in making other products. And then we also have institutional markets. We're talking about a variety of profit and non-profit organizations, such as, of course, hospitals, government agencies, and schools that provide goods and services for the benefit of the society. And then we also have reseller markets. We're talking about intermediaries. Okay, so your retailers, your wholesalers, your distributors are known as your reseller markets. Okay, let's take a look at the type of advertisement. Okay, for different type of markets. So for consumer market, we have here consumer advertising such as your radio, television, newspaper, general consumer magazines, direct response advertising. For industrial or institutional reseller, okay, we make years of professional advertising such as your trade journals, professional magazines, and direct mail. So here is the approach, okay, to market or the process in approaching the market. So step one, you have to assess the needs of the market, okay, and the company's ability to meet those needs profitably. And then you can choose between undifferentiated segmentation or combination strategy. So for segmentation or combination strategy, you have to determine your target market or markets that would be most receptive to your product. And then select an approach to each target market through product differentiation and, of course, positioning. And then finally, you have to take the action to approach your target market. Okay, now let's talk about your differentiated and segmentation approaches. So when we're talking about undifferentiated or market aggregation strategy, okay, planners treat the market as homogeneous. When you say homogeneous, they are the same, and purposely ignore differences in the markets and use one market strategy that will appeal to as many people as possible. For market segmentation, on the other hand, marketers would divide the entire heterogeneous market into segments that are homogeneous. Okay, meaning to say they will cluster their customers, perhaps based on age, sex, based on needs, wants, etc., etc. Okay. So let's take a look at an example of a strategy that is undifferentiated.
Hi. Cold drinks?
Man lang gawin yan ang off ang kanyang sound na.
Oh, you're in luck. It's happy hour. So you've won another Coca-Cola for free. But you have to drink it in the store.
Coca-Cola, please.
Oh, you're in luck. It's happy hour. So, you've won another Coca-Cola for free, but you have to drink it in the store.
Oh, it's happy hour. So, you want a free Coca-Cola, but you have to drink it here.
Okay, so this is an example of your undifferentiated or market aggregation strategy, wherein they have or they make use of the same advertisement targeted to different countries or different market in different countries. Okay, here you go. So moving on. We also have here product differentiation. So this is a competitive market strategy designed to create product differences that would distinguish the products or a company's products from all others in the eyes of consumers. And then we also have here positioning, creating a relative image of the product that will occupy a distinct place in the minds of their consumers, that when they think of a particular product or a particular product, they will think of your brand. Why? Because you already position the image of your brand into the mind of your customers or consumers. Okay, let's take a look at another example in terms of your product differentiation.
Show me my book list.
You have 4 book reminders.
Montre-moi ma liste de livres.
Vous avez 4 rappels dans la liste livres.
Zeig mir meine Literaturliste.
Du hast 4 Erinnerungen auf der Liste Literatur.
ブックリスト見せてくれる？
ブックリストのリマインダーです。
Tell Dad I found Katie's present.
Dis à Papa que j'ai le cadeau d'Alice.
Sag Papa, wir haben das Geschenk für Julia.
プレゼント見つけたって父さんに伝えて。
父さんへのメッセージを作成しました。
Here's your message to Dad.
Voici votre message à Papa.
Hier ist deine Nachricht an Papa.
サカナクション流して。
サカナクションを再生します。
Fais-moi écouter Daft Punk.
Spiel was von Daft Punk.
Play some Daft Punk.
Here's Daft Punk.
ロンドンって今何時だろう What time is it in Australia? If it was in Australian?
Quelle heure il est en Australie?
ミラノの時間は
Milan.
À New York?
London.
London.
In London, England, it's 9:05.
À Paris? À Paris, France, il est 9h05.
Hamburg?
In Hamburg, Deutschland, ist es 9:05 Uhr.
東京は何時？
日本のと京都の時刻は9時5分です。
Great. FaceTime Jen.
FaceTime Lucie.
FaceTime Katrin.
香りにフェイスタイム。
Okay, so there you go. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at the 4 tools of marketing or the factors that would affect your advertising. So first is, of course, your product. In terms of the design and development of your product, it would definitely affect your advertising, your branding, your packaging, okay, your maintenance. So here are some practical tips in creating packaging that would communicate value to your customers. So make your package colorful and distinctive. Use a design that underscores the brand image. Sends advertising messages that corresponds with mass media messages. Make the package as functional as possible. Make sure that the product package and advertising details are actually the same. So here are some examples of very effective packaging, okay, that customers can, or that can attract customers because they are distinct, it's functional, okay, and it's very creative. Okay, moving on. So in terms of your product, if your product's characteristics would be tangible, so you have to consider the size, feature, color, durability, the package, the taste, and others. In terms of your intangible characteristics, so it could be the style, the quality, the image, the prestige, the warranty, the brand name, etc. So you have to come up with message strategy to represent your product. Okay, communicate it through advertising messages, and then okay, your product interpretation and of course evaluation by customers. All right, another tool of marketing is your price. Okay, so we have here your price copy, psychological pricing, price lining, and of course value determination. So when you speak of your price copy, so an advertising copy devoted to tell customers about price and the associated condition of a particular product. So we have also customary or expected pricing using a single well-known price for a long period of time. We also have here psychological pricing. This is a strategy with the objective of manipulating customers' judgments. And then we have price lining. So a strategy that offers variation of particular products and prices or pricing them accordingly. So advertising, please take note that advertising should consistently match the product's price and strategy. Okay. So in terms of your place or your distribution, so make sure, okay, that you have your distribution channel, okay, your market coverage are your other considerations, and your storage. So we have here different numbers of intermediaries. It could be direct marketing, okay, wherein companies distribute their products directly without the use of reseller. Indirect marketing, the product is distributed through a channel structure that includes one or more reseller. And then we also have cooperative advertising. So the producers and the resellers share the cost of placing the advertisement. All right, we also have here, in terms of your market coverage strategy, we also have your exclusive and selective distribution. So exclusive, if there's only one distributor who is allowed to sell a particular brand. And then we have selective, we have limited number of outlets, particularly the most profitable to customers. So in terms of advertisement or advertising, they use mass media or mass advertising and cooperative advertising. And then finally, we have intensive distribution. So the products are placed in every possible outlet to attain market coverage. So there is a use of mass media or mass advertising rather, but customization is also applied for both creative and media strategy of advertisement. Okay. Another type of distribution strategy would be your push strategy. So, ano yung push strategy? So, direct marketing effort at reseller and success depends on the ability of these intermediaries to market the product. So, push strategy is basically taking the product to customers. So, example of push tactics would be trade show, direct selling to customers in showroom or maybe face-to-face, negotiation rather, efficient supply chain, allowing retailers in efficient supply, packaging design to encourage purchase, and point of sale display. And then we also have here your pull strategy. So direct marketing efforts to the customers and attempts to pull the product through the channel. So getting customers to come to you. So example of your pull tactics would be advertising and mass media promotion, word of mouth, referrals, customer relationship management, sales promotion, and discounts. Okay. And then we also have here your communication or promotions. So we discussed this earlier. So we have your personal selling, advertising, sales promotion, direct marketing, marketing, public relations, or point of sale packaging. Okay. Let's proceed now to the consumer audience. So how does consumer behavior actually work? When we speak of your consumer behavior, it describes how individuals or groups select, purchase, use, or dispose of products, as well as describing the need or needs that motivate this behavior. So consumer audience are people who buy or use products to satisfy their needs and wants. Customers are people who buy a particular brand or patronize a specific store. So let's take a look at the influences on consumer decision making. So we have social or cultural influences. We also have psychological influences, behavioral influences. Okay, so when we speak of your cultural and social influences, culture pertains to tangible items and intangible concepts that together define a group of people or way of life. So, for example, in terms of the advertisements of McDonald's in India, since Muslims do not eat pork, okay, they will not advertise pork. And then Indians also do not eat beef, therefore they will not they will come up with their own version of burger that is acceptable to their culture. So that's the reason why we have here your maharahamak and makalo tiki. For social class, the position a person and his or her family hold within the society. So if you are a very rich person, you can go to SM Aura. So SM Aura is actually for high-end or high-class people. Okay, there, SM Aura. All right. We also have your reference group. So we're talking about a group of people who are used as guide for behavior in specific situation. And then we also have family, of course, two or more people who are related by blood, marriage, or adoption and live in the same household. Okay, we also have demographics. We're talking about the statistical, personal, social, and economic characteristics that describe a population, which includes the following: age, sexual orientation, race and ethnicity, occupation, income, and geography. All right, so here is an example, of course. So for teenagers, okay, they have to come up with an advertisement that would attract these teens to buy their product. All right, let's proceed now to your gender or sexual orientation. So we have masculine, feminine, or androgynous. So when we say androgynous, this is an appearance wherein it's a bit difficult to distinguish if they are male or female. So they partly look like female, but at the same time, male, something like that. Okay, so differences in acquisition and consumption. Of course, women are quite deliberate in terms of, um, you know, buying a product. They conduct a thorough research. On the other hand, for men, they are driven by themes and of course, simple heuristic approach. All right, so psychological influences would include perception. This is the state of mind that affects how people perceive information as well as determines a particular pattern or consumer behavior. Motivations, on the other hand, talks about internal forces that stimulate people to behave in a particular manner. Okay. We also have attitudes and values. Attitudes impact motivations, influence how consumer evaluate a particular product, institution, retail stores, and advertising. And then we also have personality. We're talking about distinctive characteristics that people or that make people or brands be individual. Brand personalities make them distinctive from their competitors. Okay. All right. We also have psychographic influence, the lifestyle and psychological characteristics, of course, there. And then usage behavior in terms of your behavioral influences. So how much of a product category or brand customers buy. And then we have innovation and adaptation or adoption, sorry, how willing people are to be innovative and try something new. Okay, moving on, let's proceed to consumer decision-making process. So the first process is need recognition. So in here, consumer recognizes the need for a product. So for advertisers, they should activate or stimulate this need. Okay. Next is information search. So can be casual or informal, wherein advertisers helps the search process by providing information and making it easy to find as well as remember. And then next is evaluation of alternatives. So consumers compare various products and reduce the list of options. So it's the job of the advertiser to help sort out products on the basis of tangible and intangible features. And then here comes now the purchase decision. So often a two-part decision wherein you select the brand, select the outlet from which to purchase or where to purchase, or maybe in-store promotions that would affect your choices. And then finally, in the consumer decision process is the post-purchase evaluation. So customers reconsiders and justifies the purchase. It determines whether the customer will keep the product, return it, or refuse to buy the product again. Okay, let's talk about your segmenting and targeting. So targeting the right audience is that you or the target rather, is described using the variables that separate this prospective consumer group from others who are not in the market. And then profiling your target audience, describing your target audience as if they are people you know. Okay. So it's used in developing media and message decisions. Okay, so let's end our lecture 2 here in the meantime. So thank you for listening. I will see you in the next lecture.